Piers has never stopped inviting me on a show. I just stopped going on because I was annoyed. I was annoyed with the spectacle of it all. Okay? Yeah, he's the OG drama guy. I could probably still go on a show whenever. He asks all the time. Now he's done this switch up, so maybe I'll go back on a show. Anyway, now that I've shown you the depraved side, here is an opportunist who is moving away. Here's an opportunist who is at the very least moving away from the wrong side as he sees the writing on the wall, as he sees the attitude shift from broader Western public. Piers Morgan is now taking to task members of the Israeli state as though they are Hasanabi Piker in the early months after October 7. Never did I think I would see this day where Piers Morgan would be, by way of being a careerist, but still, Piers Morgan would be on the right side of an issue, and Ethan Klein would be on the wrong side of said issue, and the issue being Israel doing a genocide. It is incredible.
50,000 Hamas. Others have put the total figure at around
he's outflanked Bernie Sanders, by the way.
5,000, which begs the question, if after 18, 19 months now, you have been waging this ferocious war against 25, 26,000 terrorists, and you still haven't defeated them, your strategy is failing. How many children have you killed?
Piers, Israel is not killing children. Israel is not killing children. Hamas is using them as human shields.
Israel is killing children every single day. And what you're trying to do is be very weaselly with your words.
No, I'm not.
The truth is, you are killing a lot of children. You would argue you're doing...
You know why it's caused?
Hang on, let me finish.
Because Hamas is using them as human shields, and you know that.
Let me finish my question to you. You are killing a lot of children on a daily basis. That is indisputable. My interesting question for you is, how come you know exactly how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, but you have no idea how many children you've killed? Several key points in the war on Hamas. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert has denied that Israel would kill civilians deliberately and denied the charge of war crimes. He now says this.
The statements made by Israeli cabinet ministers, the leading cabinet ministers, that say we should starve Gaza. What is it if not a war crime? I mean, how can a serious person representing the Israeli government can spell it out in such an explicit manner that we should starve Gaza, that there should be no supply of basic fundamental humanitarian needs to a couple of millions of people living there. They are terrorists that we need to fight, but this is not a war against Hamas. This looks more and more like a political war of the Israeli Prime Minister and the cabinet and the group of thugs which are now representing the Israeli government inside Israel and across the world are committing actions which can't be interpreted in any other way.
Well, Olmert also said, and I quote, the government of Israel is currently waging a war without purpose, without goals or clear planning, and with no chances of success. Meanwhile, Ehud Barak, another former prime minister and former IDF chief of staff, says the war is now purely for Netanyahu self-preservation. Yair Golan, an opposition voice and a former army deputy chief of staff, said Israel is, quotes, killing babies as a pastime, close quotes, and risks becoming a pariah state. These aren't radical Islamists or raging anti-Semites, but patriotic Israelis who think their country is losing the plot. Today, Israel announced that they've eliminated Hamas's chief in Gaza, Mohammed Sinwar, the younger brother of Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind behind the deadly attacks on October the 7th. That was seen as a huge win by Israel as they looked to justify the continued fighting. But how many innocent Palestinians are losing their lives as a consequence? Overnight, we saw more shocking scenes in Gaza as thousands of Palestinians overran an aid site run by a US and Israeli-backed group with the intention of taking control of food distribution away from the UN. Many experts believe that swathes of Gaza face imminent famine caused by an 11-week Israeli blockade, which is only now beginning to ease. How much longer can all this go on? Well, I'm joined by Israeli Ambassador to the UK, Zippy Hotovely. Ambassador, welcome back to Uncensored.
Good evening, Piers.
Incredibly damning comments from two former prime ministers of Israel and a former deputy chief of staff of the Israeli army. When you hear what they have to say, surely it gives you pause for thought, doesn't it?
Well, it's quite obvious for someone like you that understands politics that those people are coming from the opposition. Their job, in their opinion, is to fight whatever the government is doing. I think it's very anti-patriotic not to support Israel's war when we are fighting the most justified war in the world against a terror group.
Against children. Israel is fighting the most justified war in the world against children.
The most justified war in the world.
These are terror children, and they must die. Piers, you are Hamas.
That committed the worst atrocities at the 7th of October. Just today, we remember 600 days that we still have 58 hostages in captivity. And I'm afraid to say, nowadays in Israel, you can't find even one leader that will say he's willing to live with Hamas on its doorstep. So if those people have any criticism, they should offer a plan how Hamas will be removed from the Gaza Strip, from controlling the doorstep of Israel, not committing the 7th of October again. I didn't get to hear that, not from European leaders that are criticizing Israel, and not from those opposition former leaders. So I must say that in the end of the day, Israel has a serious threat on its security. You will agree with that. No one wants to see people being massacred in their homes like we've seen at the 7th of October. And in order to do that, the aims of the war are still relevant. We want to bring back our hostages, and we want to make sure Hamas won't control the Gaza Strip. Every leader in the world, in the Western world, agrees on those two aims.
You know, you and I have spoken regularly or on a number of occasions throughout this war. I've always said from the start, as you know, that Israel had an absolute right and indeed duty to its people to defend itself after those appalling attacks. And my position about that hasn't changed. But I also kept asking one question, which was, what is a proportionate response? And I've got to tell you that in the last few weeks, I have found the Israeli government strategy in Gaza to be utterly disproportionate. And I'll explain to you why. When you launch a blockade for nearly 3 months to a population which already has seen much of their possessions, their land, their buildings, their homes decimated by bombardment after bombardment, when you say that you're going to launch a blockade on aid and food to a population where 50% are under 18, you are pursuing, it seems to me, as Ehud Olmert said, a policy of starvation towards, obviously, because of the nature of the population in Gaza, of a lot of children. And that is a war crime. I mean, what else do you call it?
I think when you look at the facts, and you should look at the facts, letting in 25,000 trucks with tons of aid, this is not a policy of starvation. Now, let me tell you what was Israel's policy from the beginning of the war. From the beginning of the war, we created a very clear distinction between the terrorists. We're talking about 50,000 people that embedded themselves in population. As you know, just now, you just mentioned Mohammed Sinwar. He was found under a hospital, under the European hospital. He was hiding there because he knows exactly how the world reacts when Israel attacks hospitals. But those hospitals being abused and being used as a terror facilities. This is why Israel is allowed to operate there. Now, I'm going back to the policy of aid. In the last few days, as you know, Israel is launching a new program, a new mechanism to deliver aid because, unfortunately, and I'm saying that with a big pain, Hamas was looting the aid that all the world wanted to be let into Gaza. Now, everyone is interested that the population won't be starving. We don't want to see pictures of children that don't have something to eat.
Nothing she's saying is correct. It's actually kind of crazy. Nothing she's saying is correct. Incredible.
We all share the same interest.
Come on, Piers,
but
ask her. Where's the evidence?
If Hamas is looting the aid, then we are empowering the war machine. And according to the international law, no country in the world has obligation to feed the war machine of the enemy. And this is what happened in the last few months. This is why Israel had to change the mechanism. This is why American companies are involved. So we'll have a buffer. We won't have to see Israeli soldiers combating Hamas while they're trying to loot the aid. The whole procedure is much more effective. And just in the last few days, we saw Hamas putting barriers for the population not to receive this aid. This is the same Hamas that uses his own people as human shields. So we are talking about a situation that's very difficult, very complicated. Once Israel is fighting the Hamas terrorists, we still want aid to get in. And the mechanism, I believe, that Israel is putting now forward is so much better than the one that in the end of the day is empowering Hamas.
The problem is that whilst you're saying all this and trying to justify it, you've got people like Smodrich coming out and making it absolutely crystal clear what the real plan is, which is to completely clean out Gaza of all the Palestinians and get them into, quotes, a third country. That is a form of genocide. It is the deliberate targeting of people based on ethnicity and displacing them from their homes and killing a lot of them in the process. I don't know what else you would call it. I've resisted using the word genocide about this, but when I watched what Mr. Smodrich was saying and studied the exact words that he said, it is very hard to reach any other conclusion than that he is waging a strategy of genocide and would like to cleanse, as he put it, the whole Gaza Strip of all the Palestinians. So you can try and dress up that blockade, which is what it was for 3 months, where we saw the starving children you say you're concerned about, but you've got Smodrich there actually laying bare the real plan, which is to get all the Palestinians out of Gaza. And that is a form of genocide, isn't it? What else do you call it?
Well, let's begin with the fact that if you listen to the British media, you get the assumption that Smotrich is the Israeli prime minister. Well, he's not. He's not the one who's forming the policy on aid. And the policy you just quoted is actually...
So is he a liar?
No, all I'm saying is that his policy...
It's not just Bezalel Smotrich, who's the finance minister, chap. Like, this isn't a random guy. He's just one of the many high-level officials. Netanyahu said the same.
Well, either he's lying or he's telling the truth.
His statements are not standing in one line with Israel's policy. This is as a matter of fact. Now, going back to what you quoted basically President Trump's plan. And President Trump's plan is speaking about making Gaza a better place. Gaza will be a better place without having a terror hub, without having the underground tunnel city, without having people firing on Israeli cities. Just in the last 2 weeks, there were more rockets being fired from Gaza to Ashkelon, to some Israeli southern cities. We are not interested with any of that. And I just want to remind you, just in case you're so interested with finishing the war can finish today. If Hamas will surrender, if Hamas will make sure that no weapons in Gaza, if we'll see demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, and if our hostages are back home, the war will be ending today. I mean, just imagine that.
All right, but let me ask.
Nope. I think Piers is not fucking fully on board with the movement, and that's why he's just like neutering his own arguments here. He could be absolutely cooking her up like a flank steak here. Like the Bezalel Smotrich thing, it's not just him. You know what I mean? It's not just him. If that's the case, then what the fuck does like Netanyahu mean when he says we're doing everything in our power to make sure that we follow through with Trump's permanent ethnic displacement plan? That's what we're gonna do. There's not gonna be a statehood for Palestinians ever. You know what I mean?
Ask you though, but you accept that Israel has the strongest military in the Middle East, right? I am the proud owner of 2 cats, which are named after 2 Arsenal football legends. And like their owner, they are extremely demanding. How fortunate then that today's show is sponsored by Smalls, which happens to make incredible cat food. This stuff is packed with high quality protein, made with preservative-free ingredients, and is delivered directly to your doorstep. They started this back in 2017 with a few guys cooking good quality cat food at home. Now they've sold millions of cat meals nationwide, and the results speak for themselves. 88% of cat owners reported noticeable health improvements after switching. There's a risk-free trial, so you have nothing to lose except your cat's patience if you don't order soon. To give your cat the food they deserve. For a limited time only, Uncensored viewers can get 35% off Smalls, plus an extra 50% off your first order by using the promo code PIERS. That's an additional 50% off when you head to smalls.com and use promo code PIERS. Again, that's promo code PIERS for an additional 50% off your first order, plus free shipping at smalls.com.
We have a strong military, but very vulnerable population that's been hit by a terror organization. We're a small country. We're a small country that its border being invaded.
Fine. I just asked you a question as to whether you have the strongest military in the Middle East. You accept you do?
We do, but at the same time, we're a very vulnerable country when we're surrounded by radical Islamists.
Dude, I love that. I love that. She literally did the we're both incredibly strong and mighty, but also very small bead. Like, in the same second. It's crazy. Oh, we're a small bean country, Piers. Why are you saying this? Israel #1, but also Israel baby. Israel little baby. Also, Israel's enemies are terror babies. Yeah, Israel is both David and Goliath, dude. When the opportunity presents itself, it's a strong, proud, powerful nation. Militant, but also so tiny and so small, constantly under threat. This is baby on baby violence, Piers. Hold on. Hold on 1 second.
Yes,
including backed up by Iran.
I'm not here to defend radical Islamists.
I was pro-Israel when it first started because I was raised Christian nationalist. It was like an awakening. Imagine being raised into a member of the Nazi Party of the 1930s and realizing you were a disgusting subhuman. Thank you for not only informing me on the genocide, but also pulling me out of the cult. Hell yeah. I didn't do that, though. You did it. You were open-minded. You engaged in critical thinking. You engaged in something that contradicted your initial programming, and a lot of people don't do that. So I will always, always, always defend those who do and celebrate those who do. Remember,
Israel.
I'm not here to defend that. I'm not here to defend Hamas, who I think are a despicable terror organization. But you said there were 50,000 Hamas. Others have put the total figure at around 25,000, which begs the question, if after 18, 19 months now, you have been waging this ferocious war against 25, 26,000 terrorists, and you still haven't defeated them, you still can't get your hostages released, they're still not being released, it's clear to most people that your strategy is failing. But what you're doing is ramping up the attacks, ramping up the devastation, ramping up the clearing out of Gaza. You've got members of the cabinet openly saying they want to get...
Is it actually fine? Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Why are you spamming this? Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, stop spamming. I don't know. Oh my Lord. I'm back. I'm back on the Jesus train. You can say bless you again. This guy made me find God. Find God!
Get rid of all the Palestinians and get them into another country. So it seems to...
Yeah, did Israel say it? Did Israel claim it? Then it's a lie. Okay? That's my automatic lock. Dude.
Everybody else that what you're actually doing is not winning any war against Hamas. In fact, many people think including intelligence that the Americans have received. For every Hamas terrorist you've killed, they've already been replaced multiple times with people with the same ideology. And that would explain why you can't get the hostages out. And in fact, the hostages, the more you bombard Gaza, the more you would say that their own lives become imperiled. And the overriding picture, which is what's getting Israel so much opprobrium around the world, is that your strategy isn't working. There's no clear plan for what happens at the end of all this. Hamas is still clearly alive and well and thriving. Yes, you've killed another one of their leaders today, but you killed his brother, who was the architect of October the 7th, months ago, and that didn't seem to make any difference to Hamas's ability to continue engaging in battle with you. And the argument remains, how many Palestinian civilian innocent lives, women and in particular children, are you prepared to kill as you continue going after Hamas when it doesn't appear that you're winning that battle?
No, of course Piers isn't fully there, and he will never get fully there. Piers' entire career is designed around never fully getting there, Chad. Sorry, didn't mean to spam. I'm new here. It's insane, bro. You know that. First of all, you know you're not supposed to spam because you kept changing the goddamn question that you were asking. Calm down.
Strategy is failing.
Piers, how many Japanese children were killed under American attacks, and how many
Oh my god. Oh my god.
German children were killed?
Does anyone believe Piers is sincere good faith? No, I was talking to a Muslim normie homie of mine about this, and I like to hear from him, like, about his perspective, because he's not like super invested in the online shit, but he loves Norm Finkelstein. Like, he loves Norm Finkelstein, and he was so mad at Piers Morgan. He was like, that piece of shit. He was like, that piece of shit spent the first 19 months shitting on every pro-Palestinian speaker, only to now turn around and act like he was with it the whole time. Is he devout? Yes. What difference does that make? Anyway.
The UK attacks in the Second World War. Listen, I mean, if you want to play a fair...
Piers has never stopped inviting me on a show. I just stopped going on because I was annoyed. I was annoyed with the spectacle of it all. Okay? I could probably still go on a show whenever. He asks all the time. He has tried to do a one-on-one with me. He's tried to like have me on just by myself when I was in England, outside of England. He has an eye for talent. He has an eye for what drives clicks. He knows. He knows having me on the show does decently well. Now he's done this switch up, so maybe I'll go back on his show. Yeah, he's the OG drama guy.
If you want to play a fair game, you need to understand how Western armies operated in the past. Israel is not anywhere near to the American attacks on Tokyo that killed 100,000 civilians, and not anywhere near to what the UK was doing in the Second World War. Now, when I'm looking about a strategy, I get to hear all the people criticize Israel today, including yourself, and then I'm asking you this question. If Israel finishes the war today and Hamas stays on our doorstep, what kind of future do you promise my children? A future that 7th of October will happen and again, just like Hamas leaders promised? This is what you expect the Israelis or the Israeli leadership to accept?
Hamas should not be allowed to run a Welk stall at the end of all this. They should have
So how do you achieve that? How do you achieve that?
Well,
who's volunteering there to demilitarize the Gaza Strip?
No, that's different. Demilitarizing the Gaza Strip is a death sentence. Dude, one of the craziest parts about this is like they're both openly genocidal and doing genocidal shit while simultaneously going, why don't you put down your arms? Why the would anybody do that? It would be immoral for Hamas to turn around and demand a demilitarization of all Palestinian resistance forces. And for the record, even if they were to say, yes, we are doing that, not a single Palestinian faction, even the Al-Qassam brigades, would actually put down their arms. Are you out of your mind? What kind of fantasy is this? It's insane. Hey, put down your arms so we can Holocaust you easier is crazy. At least as it stands, a militant resistance exists, which at the very least stops the Israeli military from being able to dominate the Strip to the best of their ability. Because they're terrified that while they're in the process of scouring the underwear drawers of Palestinian women that they've killed and displaced, they get smoked. Absolutely smoked. Why do people insist on eating on stream? I eat your mother's pussy off stream. If you want, I can eat your mother's pussy on stream too. Hey, dumb. I'm live throughout the day. What do you want me to do? Not eat? Suck my dick. Piece of shit. Also, you're grounded. I'm your stepfather, okay? Nope. I'm not the stepfather. I'm the father that stepped up, and now you're grounded. After PLO surrendered its weapons in 1982 and left Lebanon, Israel and a South Lebanon army proxy massacred over 3,500 Palestinian refugees in Sabra and Shatila. Yep. Also, the funniest part about it is half of you are eating while watching me. It's so crazy. Take a break and eat. What the Yeah, this is why you're a 10-month subscriber and not a 10-month Twitch streamer, okay? That's not how this works. That's not how this works. There's no taking a break. Twitch is a continuous stream, okay? God damn. Why the Oh my God, we're back. We're back to the annoying assholes who are up my dick. Shut up. Shut up. I'm the captain, okay? I'm the captain. You don't know what the you're talking about.
No other industry where you just like as a random onlooker go, nah, I don't like the way you foamed up that latte, dude. Hey, big dog, why don't you give it an extra spin? It's crazy. It's crazy. Shut up. I don't come to your place of work and go, hey, Karen, don't see you actually looking at those goddamn Excel spreadsheets. As a matter of fact, it seems like you got one AirPod in one ear listening to some random dickhead named Hasanabi on his Twitch stream while you're simply acting as though you're working. You see me doing that? Do you see me coming over to your place of work and being like, oh, I can't believe you're having spaghetti and meatballs for lunch. That's going to make you fart quite a bit, actually. How about you switch it up, sugar tits, for some broccoli? Like, do I do that? No. So why the f*** are you doing that to me? Shut the f*** up.
Anyway, I'm not actually mad. I'm memeing, but just quit the stream, dude. Okay, thanks, man. Yeah, I pay your salary, buddy. These are the exact same that lord over everyone in the service industry. Thank God I have the awesome power to be able to just laser you out of existence and then humiliate you, regardless of the 2 cents an hour that you pay me. Half the time you're not even doing that. You don't even have to do that. So goddamn entitled. Okay? Self-entitled. It's like, excuse me, I pay your salary. I pay you $6 a month, and I get literally unlimited access to you every single day. That's only a good line against cops. Yeah. Also, cops are the only who are able to kill you on the spot if you were to say that to them without any accountability whatsoever. Can you imagine how beautiful of a world it would be if, and I've said this before, if you were in the service sector, if you're like a waiter, right? Or if you work in retail, you work at a brick and mortar retail store, and some annoying asshole comes in and is like, I don't like the way you're, excuse me, I don't like the way you're presenting these t-shirts. I think there's a different method of folding that you should be applying, and you just basically hit a button, and that button automatically teleported them outside of the store. Or, even better, that button actually slammed their mouth shut so they couldn't make a noise any longer. How amazing would that be for you? If you ever worked in retail, I feel like, think about that. You go to a restaurant, some dickhead's like, hello, I'm going to tip you. I'm going to pay your salary. So, therefore, I get to make decisions on how you bring the wine. The wine should be brought before the aperitif waiter, garçon, And then you just go click. You just go click, and then immediately you just shut off their mouth. Like Matrix. Like in the Matrix, where the mouth is just like shut off entirely. Think about how much more enjoyable your life would be. Anyway. My partner and I argue about the best benign superpower. Ability to make someone shit themselves instantly is my pick. That's pretty good. I like that. I mean, another benign superpower would be to, like, with one snap, you just instantly transport someone that like 20 meters away from you. You know what I mean? You just go like that, boom. Teleport 20 meters away. That's not benign. No, that's why I said 20 meters. That's benign. 20 meters is benign. If you could do permanent teleportation, it would not be benign. It would be a very powerful superpower. But as long as you are able to do it for 20 meters, then it's benign. You know what I mean? All right, let's continue.
Respect, Ambassador, you clearly don't achieve it with the way that you're trying to achieve it. All you're achieving at the moment is making Israel more and more of a global pariah. When only a few days ago, you have 2 doctors in Gaza who have 10 children, and 9 of them are killed in a bombardment by your forces. That doesn't make people feel, oh, this is all going great. It makes people think that you're waging a systematic destruction, not just of property and of land, but also of children. And that's what's happening. The percentage of children that you're killing compared to the percentage of you're killing of Hamas terrorists, what is it? Do you know? Do you know how many children you've killed? Well, hang on. Answer me that one question. Do you know how many Hamas terrorists you've killed and how many children you've killed? Do you know those 2 numbers?
I know the numbers that came from the IDF. I know the numbers that came from a very, very established
give me the two numbers.
Wait a second. We killed 30,000. We killed 30,000 terrorists in phase 1 of the war. Since the war is back, I don't have the numbers. But let me tell you one thing. We never target civilians. So this question is irrelevant.
How many children have you killed?
Piers, Israel is not killing children. Israel is not killing children. Hamas is using them as human shields.
Israel is killing children every single day.
Piers, this is a blood label you're putting on Israel. You know it's not true.
That's such an insane lie that it's almost funny when you forget that it's like a real thing that's happening. Like saying that Israel does not kill children is like saying Americans don't eat hamburger. Okay? I'm sorry. Permanently scarred. Your reputation is over. Israel will forever be tarred with the reputational damage. It deserves a lot more than reputational damage, let's be real, of being an op to babies. Okay? Israel's number 1 op are children. That is all Israel kills. That's literally their number 1 enemy combatant. That's the only thing that Israel can fight back against, the diaper force. Saying this is blood libel does not do what you think it does. She thinks when she says, this is blood libel. You are Hamas doing blood libel. What she thinks is going on is like a lot of the onlookers are going to go, oh my God, I can't believe Piers Morgan is Hamas. I can't believe Piers Morgan is actually doing blood libel. No, a lot of people hear that and go, okay, is blood libel real then? Because I know Israel's number 1 enemy is babies. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. So all you've done, unironically, is now establish a defense for Nazis to say blood libel was real, see? And point to this. And these guys don't understand that. They literally cannot get out of their own heads. They think that everyone thinks like them. They think they've surrounded themselves with incredibly vicious people that have the exact same singular focus on murdering as many children as possible. So they think they can get away with this kind of commentary. They can't. Hasanabi is at it again. Insane. Someone like this has a platform. Dude, again, the numbers that do this, the number of people that do this is diminishing by the day. Have you guys noticed that? It's so funny because these like 38-year-old losers who still live with their parents, if they were to talk to their moms and dads, even their moms and dads who are otherwise conservative probably find what Israel's doing to be gross. But this dumb still has to maintain this pro-Israeli position because like his favorite content creator is pro-Israel. You are nothing. You're not a human being, dude. You have literally dehumanized yourself. You are a chatbot for a content creator. No matter what happens, I will forever think of that meme. It's like the chain being broken, the freedom meme. I think it was Evan who used that as a reply when it's like your mother, when she finally hears the gunshot sound coming from the basement, and it's just like the chain broken meme. It's one of the best responses I've ever seen to like a psychotic neo-Nazi. Evan stole it from Right Wing Co-op? No, I mean, regardless of who came up with it. Look, I have a much nicer version of that I often say. I will usually say, this is the reason why your family acts like you're not around for Thanksgiving. You know? This is why, where they're like, oh, he's not around. You're upstairs. They tell you to come down after the whole family is left to pick up the leftovers. Oh, yeah. I find R words. R word of post of the day. White South Africans. Your mother when she hears a gunshot in the basement. Blood libels were a Nazi conspiracy about Jews? No, it's not. It's not a Nazi conspiracy about Jews. Blood libel far predates the Nazis. Okay? Blood libel is the idea that Jews are poisoning the wells in the villages that they're in. And at a time when people didn't understand germ theory, they thought like, oh, these magic people are actually poisoning the wells and drinking the blood of our children, our babies. And that's blood libel. And then they would use that as a reason to purge the villages of the Jews. Ironically, it's not dissimilar to the way Israel talks about Palestinians, actually. Come to think of it. Yeah, almost verbatim. Like, what? Any other Asmongold heads wish you would stop giving the left ammo like this? It makes us look bad. I don't need it because I'm not fat. Asmongold claims he has not worn deodorant since he was 14 years old. Yeah, I could tell you that. I mean, this is like, I'm going to keep it $1.50. This is one of those things where it's like, yeah, we knew. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to say it. Feel like it comes with the territory, you know? Oh, wow, you don't use deodorant? That's shocked. Shocked, I tell you.
Why would I don't wear deodorant. The last time I wore deodorant is whenever I thought I could wear Axe body spray and girls would like me. I was like 14. I don't wear deodorant. You know why? You know why I don't need deodorant? Because no, I don't need it because I'm not fat. Fat people need deodorant because they smell bad because all the Cheetos are coming through their skin. No, absolutely not. You got the grease going through. That doesn't happen with me.
That absolutely happens with him. What? What the? Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Edgy humor enjoyers man, they're so sick. They're so real. They're real. This is real. How dare you make me listen to that? You need to understand, this is the brilliant orator Asmongold, the face of the new emerging right-wing movement online. Oh, it's so brilliant. It does sometimes feel like it's a psyop. Like, I feel like Asmongold is like, I imagined him. I like made up in my mind a truly repulsive human being in ways that, you know, most normal people will look at and go, oh, ew, what? And never take seriously. I imagine him being the face of the right-wing movement to disparage the modern online right-wing movement. That's what I did. Like, there's so much more work necessary to undermine Ben Shapiro's arguments. A lot of the talking points he's getting directly from the American Enterprise Institute. Like, when you're tackling someone like Ben Shapiro, you're tackling not just him, you're tackling the entire media infrastructure that is behind the likes of Ben Shapiro that justifies right-wing policies, right? Whereas with Asmongold, it's just all you need to do is just, you know, I mean, he doesn't even present a decent argument. What the is going on with my camera today? Ah! Anyway, with Asmongold, there's not really much you need to do to counter his positions. It's just they're very stupid, and also he looks gross.
That's not like me at all, bro. Like,
Hoflation, dude. He should talk about hoflation again. Also here, the reason why I'm talking about Asmongold is because he's like popping off on Frogan about 9/11 and stuff. He's popping off on Frogan about 9/11 and acting like he's really mad about Frogan's statements on 9/11. Here's Asmongold on 9/11.
one of your most popular, biggest hits was that America deserved 9/11. Remember that?
Yes.
But what you meant to say is that American interventionism inadvertently caused this to happen. Am I right?
Exactly. Not even inadvertently. It's a concept. It's a concept that
So
historians call blowback.
I totally agree with you about that. I completely agree with you. I think that you're right. I defended that.
Wow, that's crazy. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. So this all starts when Asmongold says Twitch should ban political content to optimize for ad revenue. Odds that me, Hasan, Tectone, Frogan, Denims, and Central Committee cause 90% of the PR problems for the entire website. I like that 90% of the PR problems that are caused for the entire website is never actually covered by real PR, and it's just the sweatiest losers on Twitter that get mad, and then those sweatiest losers on Twitter will then try to get like actual outlets to cover it. Like, hey, why won't CNN cover this? Why is CNN covering Hasan positively? Like, these guys don't understand. Most people in mainstream media don't know who the Asmongold is, don't know who the Tectone is, don't know who the Frogan is, Denims is, Central Committee is. They barely know who the I am. Okay. And the ones who know who the I am in mainstream media obviously understand that, like, I'm a controversial figure, but ultimately a force for good, a force for progressive politics. We are lucky that mainstream media does not know who the Asmongold is. If I wanted to destroy Twitter, I would literally go to every single one of my journalist friends and be like, hey, cover Asmongold, cover how cover how Twitch is allowing Asmongold to run rampant, to run his dirty ass dick all up and down the goddamn platform, saying the most insane shit. But I'm not like Asmongold. I don't want this platform to perish because I'm selfish. Okay? That's what he's been doing, though. He has been actively trying to get all of these other people to cover Twitch in a negative fashion. It hasn't worked because most people don't know who the Asmongold is. Thank God. Okay? But he's aligned with people who are actively trying to send tens of thousands of emails to the likes of like CNN, NBC, MSNBC, who are working, Dan Stalkman is the guy I'm talking about, who are working in unison with the Anti-Defamation League, also known as the Apartheid Defense League, to try and get all advertisers to remove ads from the platform. Why? Because I'm still on the platform. They are actively trying to make this a PR issue while simultaneously turning around and being like, we should ban politics, actually. It's just a real PR issue. Yeah, you can keep running the hate campaign, but I hope everyone understands that he's a rat, okay? He's a rat ass who does not care about what happens to smaller content creators. That is just the truth. He's a selfish, rat-like individual who doesn't even care about other people in his immediate vicinity enough to shower, clearly. Anyway, having said that, let's hear what he had to say, and then we'll see what Frogan had to say, and then I'll give some more takes.
That's what I would do. If I wanted to optimize ad revenue, you know what I would do? I'd ban politics. That's what I'd do. Just ban it. The odds are that me and Hasan and Tectone and Frogan and Denim...
I despise being mentioned alongside the likes of Tectone from the point of view of like being a liability for the platform, okay? That is disgusting, okay? I take issue with that. That is completely unacceptable. Gross. Like, second generation rapist. There is no comparison. Come on. No, Asmongold recognizes that he streams politics. I think he's just saying they should ban politics off the platform. And if they were to do that, he probably would stop talking about politics, I assume. Or at least go back to talking about titties in video games. Because in his mind, that's not political. He doesn't understand that there's a reason why he has such a massive right-wing audience. Because for years, he presented himself as a person that is advocating for free speech. Free speech on which boundary? Massive right-wing audience. Because for years, he presented himself as a person that is advocating for free speech. Free speech on which boundaries, of course? Oh, that's right. Titties in video games. Titties in video games. Why are they small? Why can they not be larger?
And Central Committee cause 90% of the PR problems on the...
Like, imagine thinking in your dumb horse blinder focused vision of the world, okay? Yeah. CNN is looking at Michael from Pennsylvania's account and going, I can't believe he said something like this. Like, that's a real mover and shaker in the media world. It's like dudes at Ogilvy, marketing executives at Ogilvy are like, we were going to dump $7 million into our Q4 advertisement campaign on Twitch. And then I saw Michael from Pennsylvania on a LSF post, and I realized we should probably give all that money to a TikToker. I'm sorry, guys. You got to get your head out of your ass. It's so stupid to think that, like, what you see in the circles that you contribute to online is actually real movers and real shakers in the world of discourse. Okay? It's not. Nobody gives a okay? Like, if you want to look at actual PR problems, Asmongold is not wrong. Okay? Asmongold does cause real PR problems. Let's look at Asmongold on the news side. Okay? All we wanted to do was play video games. Streamers such as Asmongold have more influence than ever. What are they really saying? Aftermath site and all these like are fake ass websites, and it doesn't matter. MSN is an aggregator, but like Asmongold's Twitch ban is a negative. Is a negative for the platform. It's negative PR for the platform because he said Palestinians are inferior culture that deserve to be genocided. That's negative PR for the platform. Let's look up Hasan Piker, okay? And I'll tell you what's negative PR for the platform and what's positive PR for the platform. So New York Post saying Hasan Piker back on Twitch after being yanked for comments about DC Jewish museum shooting. New York Post is not a reputable outlet. It's no different. It's a worse version of what do you call it? Aftermath's a real site? Oh, no, I was talking about like mainstream. I'm talking about mainstream news outlets. Aftermath is great. Sure. But mainstream news outlets like New York Times, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, NBC, those are real outlets, okay? Wall Street Journal. Dexerto is not a real outlet, all right? Discourse blog is fantastic, but also not in the mainstream sphere, okay? Fox News is not a reputable and serious publication. It's not a reputable or serious institution, okay? In the same way that like The Guardian is, in the same way that NPR is. So you have to understand, like New York Post is a tabloid, and Fox News is a right-wing dish rag. The reason why I pointed that out is because, like, yes, I sometimes have negative PR for the platform when I get banned for certain shit, but ultimately that doesn't move the needle in any meaningful way, as opposed to all the positive PR that I bring to the platform with all these other major outlets. Fox News is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, and so is New York Post. So is the Free Press. Like, these are not reputable institutions. They're not a part of the liberal mainstream media. So on that front, I don't even agree with this. Yes, if you were to look at like the Fear Buck account or any number of different like blue check power farmers on Twitter that want to make $26 in ad revenue every month. So they're just like constantly pumping the most bottom of the barrel, lowest common denominator takes. Yes, on that front, all of those botted tweets and shit. Yes, very, very, very controversial. Twitch is an incredibly controversial outlet for dudes who are reply guys to Elon Musk. It's a very controversial outlet for people who spend all of their time online and all their time on Twitter. Okay, yeah, for those guys it's controversial, but those guys are not the advertisement executives. Okay, those guys are not the real movers and shakers. Most of the movers and shakers do not know who any of us are, myself included, and luckily not Asmongold. If I was the same type of person as Asmongold, if I was a rat who wanted to screw up this entire platform and then off and like, I don't know, get a kickback or go to YouTube, then I would literally blow up the platform by doing this SJW nonsense over and over again, by constantly going to my journalist friends and being like, look at this racist, look at this racist. Why don't you do coverage over this racist? Why doesn't Twitch ban this racist? Who do you think out of all of those reputable outlets would they actually cover with ease? Who do you think would actually get the headlines? Who would actually become a headline? The guy who does unlimited white supremacist propaganda every day to 50,000 people, who has destroyed the Daily Wire's prominence in the online sphere, or a guy like myself who, yes, has radical perspectives, but is on the right side and definitely has opinions that are not that far removed from the average journalist. That's it. But because I'm not a rat bitch like Asmongold, I'm not going to do that. He can now turn around, watch this reaction, watch me reacting to him saying some dumb shit, and then make another YouTube video being like, yeah, it's over, guys. Gotta ban this guy. He's so funny. Oh, I'm simply laughing. I'm laughing at him. Yeah. Also, who showers? I don't understand. I don't smell bad. I'm skinny. Yeah, it's common sense. So yes, I do love, like I said, the fact that he is the face of the modern right, the modern right-wing movement. All right, having said that, let's take a look at what his response was to Frogan. Wait, hold on. Why can't I press Control-Shift-T? Okay. So Frogan responds to that dumbass take, goes, you consider me political because I wear a hijab. I am not like you, and I do not make political content anywhere but typing a tweet once in a while. And that is true. A lot of people think Frogan is political because she is my mod and because she has all of these like pop-off moments that other people hyper-focus on. But outside of those like very famous moments, like she does drama. She watches TLC shows. Okay? Don't try to use your hijab as a shield for your disgusting behavior. American soldiers deserve PTSD. Arab Jew racial tier list. Sub goal to make a 9/11 cake. Called October 7th mass murders a revolution. Those are PR problems, obviously. Your religion isn't the problem. You are. Now, of course, Asmongold does this thing where he talks about the Sabra hummus tier list. Ridiculous. Okay, pick you. Sabra hummus tier list. I feel like doesn't deserve to be on this list. Okay. Exaggerated version of something that she did say that I think is understandably going to cause a lot of ire, especially coming from a woman in a hijab. Okay, this is absolutely ridiculous. Arab Jew, Nick, come on, Nick, come on. You're right next to my ear. What is happening? I love my family, but sometimes they are, while I'm live, trying to directly communicate with me. Oh. Oof. Asmongold looks like when All Might without his powers in My Hero Academia. Oh my god, you're not wrong. Yeah. Sub goal to make a 9/11 cake. Absolutely zero fucking people give a shit about 9/11 jokes, okay? So the reason why I took issue with this was specifically because of the 9/11 cake thing, okay? Like, you can have disagreements with Frogan, who gives a fuck, right? But the idea that, like, you're adding on the 9/11 cake on there is so fucking annoying. And the reason why it's annoying is because you say heinous shit on a regular fucking basis. And it's always the free speech, anti-cancel culture, edgy humor motherfuckers that lose their goddamn minds anytime your targets are not like trans people or Muslims or any other kind of like marginalized community. When you talk about the American government or the fucking Israeli government, all of these edgy humor motherfuckers lose their mind. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Can he say that? Can he say that? Whoa, we should kill this guy. Can we put you in jail, please? Yeah, they go, time out on hate. Time out on hate. Jay Schlatt was in Asmon's org and has a 30-minute long compilation on YouTube making jokes about 9/11. Yeah, of course. Asmongold himself has also made 9/11 jokes. Of course he has, bro. Are you fucking joking? He's also defended my ban on 9/11, on the 9/11 ban that I received. He was like, yeah, that's not a problem. I agree with you on that.
If Call of Duty really wants to do something insane, they need to make the next Black Ops about stopping September 11th. And the end scene is that you actually stop the planes and you stop September 11th. They roll the credits. After the credits of the game are over, it goes back to the game. You look up at the towers and they still fall down.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. That's actually unironically an awesome idea. I forgot. That is actually such a banger idea that it literally feels like I forgot that I was angry at him for being hypocritical. Okay? Because the entire point of this was he's supposed to be mad about someone making like a 9/11 joke or something. Okay? Like I can't even entertain being a hater here, okay? Low key, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea. That's actually kind of a good idea. If they were insane enough, they would just literally do it from the perspective of the fucking hijackers, like No Russian. They would never do that though, of course. Remember fucking No Russian? Like that type of shit. Yeah, he's like, just like Kai Cenat has a reaction stylist, Asmongold's got a reaction stylist as well, because he did not come up with this on his own.
And it says to be continued. That would be absolute fucking cinema. Oh my God.
I think it would be banned in every Western country. Yeah, it would be. No Russian 9/11 is fucking wild. No, I know. It's not going to happen. To be fair, the ending of the last Black Ops game was about a false flag attack by the CIA to justify a war in Iraq. Yeah, they put stuff like that. Anyway, the point is, only Asmon gets to make 9/11 jokes, okay? What is this? I don't watch Hasan. I don't care about Frogan. I play World of Warcraft and take showers. Who is this person? And I take showers and that makes me diametrically opposed to Asmongold. Yeah, Bovine, Barry, and her deranged sister are coming for our boy, by the way.
Dane broke how
yeah. We have officially arrived at a take too far. Too many takes. The take economy has found its limit. I was wondering how we would get here. I was wondering what take would be the take that would get us here. And here it is. This is the take that gets us here. Now, remember, Bovine Barry got her sister this job at the Free Press. And also remember, the reason why she's doing this is because Anthony Bourdain recognizes the humanity of Palestinians. When he was alive, he recognized the humanity of Palestinians. Okay? Let's take a look.
Anthony Bourdain broke how a generation of men eat. The cult of personality he left in his wake is frankly insufferable. A lot of what we're seeing in food culture, chef culture today has its roots in the type of eating and journalism Anthony Bourdain did. Bourdain treated ordering soup like a search and rescue mission, and now every man thinks they have to spelunk into some cave in order to get a bowl of pho, and unless they do, they're not really having dinner.
Who the fuck are you talking about? This is Bovine Barry Weiss's sister, okay, who got a job at the Free Press, of course. Fake podcast set. Everything about the Free Press is fake. Industry plants are getting old. I know. And it's also like, I'm telling you right now, the reason why she's duking it out with Anthony Bourdain, the reason why she dropped this take is so that people obviously come after her and say, you're a fucking asshole for saying this. What are you even saying? And of course, she's going to turn around and be like, oh, so many people are canceling me again. All the leftists got mad. Here's Susie Weiss, sister of genocidal Zionist Barry Weiss, also known as Bovine Barry, who killed Refat al-Ra'er, is now writing for her propaganda rag where she focuses on smearing pro-Palestinian students as overly privileged coddle snowflakes. Here's Susie. Here's how Susie reacted when she failed to get into an Ivy. Let's take a look.
Princeton, Yale, Penn, and Vanderbilt. Among the reasons...
It's like, bro, stop the presses. I did not get into an Ivy League institution. Stop the fucking presses. What goes on in American media? The crimes that American media have committed are untold. They are impossible to count. Okay, Asmonbald already reacting to your comment. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, based. Anyway, take a shower. If you're reacting to the comment, take a shower, Asmongold, please. For the love of all the people around you, like the fucking drive-through worker at Whataburger or wherever you go to get your Diet Dr. Pepper. Did you see Free Press Qatar hippie saying they spent $95 billion on U.S. propaganda? Yeah. Anyway, if you're not gonna shower, just wear deodorant, bro. What the fuck? I've consumed a lot of right-wing media, often against my will, from reshares and from memes I've been exposed to. So much Daily Wire, Tucker, even like Epoch Times. I've never actually fucking seen Free Press shit. It's completely fake, no emotion. Yes. I guess Barry Weiss is still mad about this interview recorded a few months before Bourdain's death. Yeah, it's particularly painful. Look, I read the op-ed page for the New York Times and I want to fucking kill myself. Wait, you'll see. We hired a fact checker to fact check them. Oh, good. Who is it? Who's corrected there the most? I don't know, Brooks. Like, Brooks is the biggest fucking doofus. It's like Night of the Living Dead over there. Oh my God, Barry Weiss. What the hell has happened? It's the fucking worst. That guy Bennett, he needs to be shot out of the nearest cannon. Who's the one with the obsession for Asian sex trade? Christoph. A little fucking creepy. Disgusting. Maureen Dowd. How the fuck do you have a job? It's crazy. It's madness. I guess Barry never forgot. So glad Susie was eventually able to overcome all the obstacles put in front of her and take her rightful meritocratic place doing punditry for her sister's website.
She was rejected by...
Like, at least I started my career at my uncle's YouTube page. You know what I mean? And then made my own thing. Barry's sister, Barry herself, literally self-canceled from the New York Times because no one would fucking fire her, only to then try and make a career out of being self-canceled from the New York Times, and then went to the nearest billionaires to set up a propaganda dish rag called the Free Press and a fake unaccredited university, and then hired her little sister.
Princeton, Yale, Penn, and Vanderbilt. Among the reasons Susie says she was rejected, quote, diversity. I offer about as much diversity as a saltine cracker. She writes, I also probably should have started a fake charity, collecting donations for the underprivileged chimpanzees of the Congo. She even blames her parents, writing, I noticed long ago that my parents gave up on parenting me. I've never sat down at a piano, never plucked a violin. Still, the competition is steep. Princeton accepted only 7% of its over 26,000 applicants this year.
Stop the presses. A rich white woman was not allowed to get into Princeton. What are we doing, man? How is this news, bro? Oh my God. It's crazy. Like, this is some shit you tell your friends, okay? Not mainstream media. And then if your friends are kind enough, they gently tell you, you are an immensely privileged person and I think you will survive. You should perhaps never reveal this to another person ever again. Meanwhile, in the United fucking States of America, you get to do this on mainstream outlets and then people actually feel bad for you. Okay, I didn't get into any of the Ivies either, you know? Boo-hoo. Who gives a shit?
Just because you're an A student and have great test scores doesn't mean you're eligible for an Ivy League school.
Some call Susie a truth teller. Others say she's entitled.
To those of you disgusted by this, shocked that I take for granted the wonderful gifts I've been afforded, I say, shh, The Real Housewives is on.
And Susie Weiss joins us now. Susie, good morning.
Like, why are you in? Why? Why are you in the studio? Like, they're like, oh my God, we have to do an in-depth analysis. We have to do full 360 coverage on this. Okay, stop the presses, please. What the fuck? No, this is not parody, man.
Morning to you.
Good morning.
Well, that's one way to blow off a little steam in an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, by the way, and also thank you to the Wall Street Journal for printing my piece.
Well, what were you hoping to accomplish?
Well, it's a funny story, actually. The piece was written, I got rejected from a bunch of schools in one day, and like any teenager, I'm sure like millions of teenagers that day, I was crying to my mom, and she said, I cannot hear about this anymore. Just go talk to someone else. So I called my sister.
Bro, she did do the thing that I said. Oh my God. Oh my God. Turns out she did try it. So I call my sister, who works, I guess at the time, did she work at Wall Street Journal?
And I was crying, but she was hysterically laughing, and she said, go write this down. So I did, and this is what came out of it.
Actually, we asked our viewers what they thought. We put the op-ed online. 53% said it's a whiny one-woman pity party. 30%.
Oh my God. Even the today.com survey was like, come on, bro. Who gives a fuck? Oh, to her fucking face. You'll never guess where she worked before the Free Press. Read her bio, way she follows me. Oh, New York Post, of course. Huge in Japan. R.I.P. Peep. The Free Press, hot goss. Both of the Weiss sisters follow me. I'm under attack. Wait, does she mean Lil Peep? What the fuck? Wait, Lil Peep was a massive anti-Zionist. He was on that Free Palestine shit way before anybody else. He's a communist, dude. He was a communist.
Said it accurately captures what college admissions officers expect these days, and 17% said they weren't sure whether to take it seriously or be appalled by it. So what do you say to those 53% who say, okay, you're blaming others, but not yourself?
I want to did you call my grandparents? Because I don't think you got them in there.
Well, where would they come down?
I think they would support me, but...
Anyway, she's back now. Now she's doing takes. Really good takes.
Anthony Bourdain broke how a generation of men eat. The cult of personality he left in his wake is frankly insufferable. A lot of what we're seeing in food culture, chef culture today has its roots in the type of eating and journalism Anthony Bourdain did. Bourdain treated ordering soup like a search and rescue mission, and now every man thinks they have to spelunk into some cave in order to get a bowl of pho, and unless they do, they're not really having dinner. Everyone just needs to calm down, take a step back, enjoy the slice of pizza or burger you're eating. It's not that deep. Anthony Bourdain broke how a generation of men eat. The cult of personality he left in his wake is frankly insufferable. A lot of what we're seeing in food culture, chef culture today has its roots in the type of eating and journalism Anthony Bourdain did. Bourdain treated ordering soup like a search and rescue mission, and now every man thinks they have to spelunk into some cave in order to get a bowl of pho, and unless they do, they're not really having dinner. Everyone just needs to calm down, take a step back, enjoy the slice of pizza or burger you're eating. It's not that deep.
Kai Cenat save us? He won't save you. We're
Anthony
gonna watch it
Bourdain
again.
broke how a generation of men eat. The cult of personality he left in his wake is
Okay, I'll stop. You only do this for the most brain dead takes? Yeah. Sorry. Lil Peep was a communist, also because of his grandfather. Yeah. Who was one of AMLO's favorite authors, John Womack Jr., Harvard professor Marxist. Yep. Anyway. Oh. I was going to do Dan Bongino having a rough one. We have to see this. Hasan Reactions, one of the best ones in the React channel.